By now, you've worked hard to let your own voice shine through your application. Now it's time for others to sing your praises, or at least confirm them. Recommendation letters provide an external, objective view of you as a student and person. In US applications, typically you will need a letter from your school counselor or principal, and 1 to 2 letters from teachers. In this module, we'll cover who to ask, what makes a good recommendation, and how to ensure your recommenders have what they need to write you a great letter. Colleges usually want a counselor letter. This is from your school counselor or equivalent, which might be your section head or principal in Sri Lanka, since many schools don't have designated counselors. It gives a general overview of you in the context of your school, academic standing, personality, and any special circumstances. There's typically only one of these. Teacher letters. 2 teachers who taught you in co-academic subjects, for example, English, math, science, social studies, foreign language, in the last couple of years. These letters focus on your academic engagement and character in the classroom. Who should you pick? Long story short, choose teachers who know you the best and can speak positively about your work and character. Ideally, someone who taught you recently. A grade 9 teacher might be too far removed unless you stayed very close or did a multi-year project with them. A teacher in a subject related to what you might study further, if possible. For example, if you're aiming for engineering, at least one math or physics teacher. Someone who can address your personal qualities. The best recs mention things like your leadership in class discussions, how you help classmates, your passion for the subject, perseverance in tough assignments, etc. If you have a teacher who also advised a club you're in or coached you, they can speak to multiple facets. They should like you. That might sound obvious, but if you suspect a teacher, though they gave you a high grade, doesn't actually have a high opinion of you or doesn't really remember you, they might write a generic letter. A passionate, even if less formally prestigious, teacher who will really advocate for you is gold. As ingenious prep advisors, ask teachers who have seen you flourish and can elaborately speak about your achievements. If you attend a big school, your principal or section head might not know each student well. In that case, perhaps a class teacher or sectional head can co-write the counselor letter or provide info. Some schools ask you to fill a brag sheet about yourself to help the recommender. If yours doesn't, you can politely provide a summary of your accomplishments and goals to the person writing to give them material. More on that soon. A great rec letter doesn't just say student X got high marks. The admissions committee can see your marks on your transcript. Instead, it should add new dimension. Classroom contributions. For example, Chamat stands out for his intellectual curiosity. He often asks probing questions that spark discussion. I recall when he connected a physics lesson to a real-world problem of water filtration he was solving in science club, demonstrating practical application of theory. This shows curiosity and initiative. Personal qualities. Maybe you showed leadership, resilience, or passion. His enthusiasm is infectious in class. Comparative praise. Teachers sometimes use comparisons like one of the top 5 students I've taught in my 20-year career, or the most dedicated lab student of this year. Colleges love this because it gives context of excellence. Superlatives, the most, best, one of the few who, and phrases comparing to peers more than other students make clear you're exceptional. Anecdotes. Specific examples or stories make a letter memorable. Like when our team's project was failing the day before the science fair, Tushara stayed at school until 7 p.m. meticulously troubleshooting and successfully got it working. This dedication impressed me and his peers. That story sticks and shows problem solving and dedication in action. Credibility and tone. It should sound genuine and not overly exaggerated or out of sync with the rest of your app. Consistency matters too. If your essays and activities claim you are collaborative and your rec says that too, great. If you bragged about being genius level in something and the teacher's letter is more lukewarm, that can raise flags. So aim for honesty with your recommenders so they echo truthfully strong points. Also, an ideal combination is two teacher recs that highlight different sides of you. For example, your math teacher praising your analytical skills and quiet leadership, and your English teacher praising your creativity and communication. Together, they paint a fuller picture. How to request and obtain strong letters. Number 1, ask early. Teachers are busy and get many requests. Ideally, ask by end of grade 12, first term or earlier, several months before application deadlines. Never wait until the last minute. A rushed letter might be scant. By asking early, you might also give them time to observe you more if needed or discuss your goals. Secondly, ask politely and in person if possible. This is a big favor you're asking. Approach the teacher after class or in a meeting. Express that you valued their class and connection and would be honored if they could write your college recommendation. Frame it as a request, not an exception. For example, "Sir, I am applying to universities in the US and would be very grateful if you could write a recommendation letter for me. I enjoyed your class and I think you know me well as a student." Give them an out in case they feel they cannot write a strong one. You want only enthusiastic writers. Usually, teachers will agree if they can speak positively. If a teacher hesitates or says something like they are too busy or not sure they could add much, consider politely asking someone else. Thirdly, provide supporting information. Even a teacher who knows you well might appreciate a refresher on your accomplishments. It's helpful to give your resume or activity list so they see what you've done outside their class, grades or work from their class. Maybe remind them, "I got the highest mark on the midterm and you commented on my project that it was creative." A brag sheet or personal statement. Some students write a short summary of their own perspective, like what they learned in that teacher's class or challenges they overcame. You can mention your college goals. "I'm hoping to study engineering, so I especially appreciated your math class focus on practical problem solving." Specific anecdotes. If there was a particular incident in class, like the time you led a successful group project, the teacher might include it if reminded. Some teachers even ask students, "What would you like me to highlight?" You can humbly suggest key things. For example, "I think my growth in your class from struggling initially to excelling later was a big part of my story." Don't write the letter for them. Don't write the letter for them. That's a big no-no. But giving pointers is usually welcome. As Ingenious Prep notes, provide an outline of what you hope they can highlight. Teachers often appreciate a student taking initiative to supply materials. Fourthly, follow up and gentle reminders. If months go by and deadlines near, it's okay to gently remind, perhaps 2 or 3 weeks before the due date, with a polite email. "Dear teacher, just a reminder that the recommendation for my US college application is due on January 1st. Please let me know if I can provide any additional information. Thank you again for your support." Teachers, especially in Sri Lanka where this process might be less familiar, may need a nudge. Be very courteous. Remember that they owe you nothing. They are doing you a favor. Fifthly, waive your right to review. On applications like the Common App, you'll be asked if you waive your right to see the recommendation. Always waive. This signals to colleges that the letter is candid and not influenced by you. It also makes teachers more comfortable, to be honest. And frankly, you don't need to see it. Focus on trust. In most cases, you won't see the letters unless a teacher shares it privately with you. And lastly, thank your recommenders. After your applications are in, or after you know letters were submitted, sincerely thank your teachers and counselor. Maybe write a thank you card or at least an email. They've spent time to help you. Let them know you appreciate it. And later, when you get admissions results, share the news and thank them again. It will make them happy to know the role they played in your success. What if a recommender asks you to draft it? This happens sometimes. A teacher is too busy or not confident in writing in English and says, "Why don't you draft something and I'll sign it?" This is delicate. US colleges really expect letters to be in the recommender's voice, not the student's. If you write your own, it may come off inauthentic or too similar to your other materials. If this happens, you could instead offer to give them an outline or bullet points, which is fine, but encourage that they put it in their own words. You might say, "Sir, I have written some notes about my time in your class that might help." And you can, of course, edit or add your perspective. If truly they insist you write it and they'll just sign, do get input from someone else, maybe another teacher, to avoid it sounding exactly like your style. It's not ideal, but ensure it's factual and in third person, and maybe include some mild praise that you know they feel without going overboard. However, most dedicated teachers will write it themselves, especially if you give them points. If language is a barrier, let them write it in Sinhala or Tamil and get it translated officially. Some colleges allow that if you explain. But usually writing in English is better if possible. Content consistency and red flags. Coordinate with your recommenders about any major issues. For example, if you had an illness that affected your grades one term, either you mention it in the app additional info or the counselor does, or both, but make sure the story is the same. If you had any disciplinary issues like a minor sanction, it's often better that your counselor addresses it objectively. Some applications directly ask counselors if the student has had disciplinary violations. Be honest. A single mistake won't kill your chances if explained, but hiding it and having it discovered will. A red flag would be a recommendation that is tepid or generic, like, "This student completed all assignments on time and was polite." That's not actively bad, but it doesn't help, and at top schools can be a negative via faint praise. If you sense a teacher would only write a lukewarm letter, choose someone else if possible, or supplement with an additional recommender. Some colleges allow an extra letter from, say, an employer or mentor. Better to have 2 strong letters than 3 where one is meh. Your tasks now. Firstly, list 2 to 3 teachers and 1 counselor or administrator who could write for you. Evaluate who knows you best and in a positive light. If you're unsure how strong a letter someone might write, reflect on your relationship. Did you participate in their class actively? Did you ever talk to them outside class about goals or get feedback? If you mostly kept to yourself in class, that teacher might not have much to say beyond grades. Secondly, initiate the conversation with them as soon as possible. If you're still in school, ask before leaving school. Don't wait until after A-level results when you may not see teachers often. If you already left, reach out professionally by either phone or email, kindly reminding them who you are and what you achieved in their class, and ask if they'd be willing. Prepare a recommender's packet for each. For example, your resume, a cover letter or email with your college's and intended major, and bullet points of things you hope they might mention, reminding them of projects or traits you demonstrated. Also include clear instructions on how to submit. Common App will send them an email link once you add their email in the system. Or if a college wants an email or mailed letter, give them that info. Lastly, plan for deadlines. If you're applying early, like an early decision deadline in November, your recs need to be ready by then. Many students forget to align teacher timelines with that. Don't. Give at least 3 to 4 weeks lead time. By securing glowing recommendations, you add a powerful chorus to your application symphony, reinforcing what you've shown about yourself. US admissions readers often say a truly enthusiastic recommendation can tip an applicant into the admit pile. You've now covered academics, test scores, activities, and recs, all key parts of the application. In Module 10, we'll tackle something more interpersonal, the interview. What to expect if you get one, and how to make a great impression when talking about yourself. Until then, set those recommender meetings and ensure your support network is ready to back you up.